Yesterday was International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The United Nations declared on that January 27, the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, as the day worldwide to commemorate, educate, and I believe to remind ourselves of our human potential to create and to destroy. The UN established this day of commemoration in 2005. The same resolution supports the development of educational programs to remember the Holocaust and prevent further genocide, and rejects any form of Holocaust denial. Drawing from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the resolution condemns all forms of, quote, religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against persons or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief, end quote, throughout the world. Unfortunately, these ideals have not been met. It has been 78 years since Auschwitz-Birkenau was liberated, since the Nazi atrocities stopped. Yet the lessons have not been learned. The experiences are fading into history. George Santayana's words are true. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. We know this is true because humanity has repeated this past many times in the late decades of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century. In places around the globe, humanity has proven that we have not yet learned these basic lessons. A news story this week shared the results of a survey on Holocaust awareness globally. NPR reported the survey commissioned by the New York-based Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany found that the number of respondents who believe the Holocaust is a myth was higher than in any other of the 5 nations previously surveyed, with 23% of adults under 40 and 12% of all respondents believing the Holocaust is a myth or the number of Jews killed have been greatly exaggerated. It also found that 54% of all respondents and 59% of those under age 40 do not know that 6 million Jews were murdered. Some 29% believe that the figure is 2 million or fewer. The Holocaust is fading into history. In schools, it is a subject area of World War II history. And in many schools across the US, the horrors of the Holocaust may gain only a passing mention in the classroom. Claims Conference President Gideon Taylor said in a statement, "Survey after survey, we continue to witness a decline in Holocaust knowledge and awareness. Equally disturbing is the trend towards Holocaust denial and distortion." Simultaneously to the decreasing knowledge about the Holocaust, there is a rise in anti-Semitism. I don't know if it is causation or correlation, but both are true. Old hateful tropes of Jews controlling banks or are smart with money, greedy, operate secretly for Jews' own good, a Jewish cabal, and so many others have returned to the center of conversations. Hate speech has moved from dark corners of society to the center where once unspeakable comments of stigmatizing, belittling, and dehumanizing words have become expected and accepted. Just this week, Elaine Chao, former Secretary of Transportation under President Trump, responded to Trump's repeated use of a derogatory nickname. Politico first reported on Chao's response. She said, "When I was young, some people deliberately misspelled or mispronounced my name," the statement read. "Asian Americans have worked hard to change that experience for the next generation." He, former President Trump, doesn't seem to understand that, which says a whole lot more about him than it will ever say about Asian Americans, Chao said. Chao released her statement after Trump, in a Truth Social post on Monday, once again referred to her by the nickname Coco Chao. The president said, "Does Coco Chow have anything to do with Joe Biden's classified documents being sent and stored in Chinatown?" he wrote. Her husband, the old broken crow, is very close to Biden, the Democrats, and of course, China. Chow is married to Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. This week also brought about an arrest yesterday after a man was assaulted at a supermarket in Gaithersburg for wearing a Jewish star as a necklace. According to news reports, the victim told police he was shopping inside the store on Flower Hill Way in Gaithersburg Wednesday afternoon when he saw a group of young men throwing fruit and stealing donuts, and he decided to confront them. The group surrounded him, and the suspect physically assaulted the victim. While being punched, the victim stated that he heard members of the group shouting, "Yeah, do it for Kanye," the charging document said. Additionally, while it does not appear to be ethnically motivated, there were 2 mass shootings in California in the Asian community this week, Monterey Park and Half Moon Bay, just a few miles from where my mom lives. My heart is with the victims and their families. With weeks like this, it can feel overwhelming. What are we supposed to do? It might feel like there are forces or trends too big to be confronted or changed. I have weeks like that. And then I remember Rabbi Tarfon's simple adage from Pirkei Avot. You are not required to finish the work, yet neither are you permitted to desist from it. The fact that I alone cannot stop anti-Semitism does not mean I can stop from trying. Or more, the fact that I cannot stop anti-Semitism does not mean that I should cower. Let me quickly tell you 3 things that give me hope. The first is that I know that more people love than hate. More people love than hate. Haters are better at amplifying their message, but they're wrong. We are too quiet, too humble, too demure. Headlines are haters rather than good news, kind news. When dog bites man, right, they say that's not news, but when man bites dog, that's a headline. The problem is that kindness is assumed in that. But I would love to see more good news shared. So we can't be quiet with the kindnesses that we extend. There was a time that it would feel like bragging, but maybe it is celebrating our community that reaches out to each other. So let's not be quiet. The second is that good people want to connect with good people. Good people want to connect with good people. I know that. 2 weeks ago, I was invited into a group of a Black Jewish dialogue group. It is men here in Bethesda who, since Kanye, have started to just gather to talk. But probably even more importantly, they have gathered to listen to each other, to listen to each other's stories and narratives, and they have found so many misunderstandings, assumptions that one made about the other, and vice versa. And they wanted help to deepen their conversation. And so I was honored to be invited in. A second is just this week, the 2 students from the Muslim Student Association at Whitman High School reached out to me. We had a Zoom because they want to do more with the Jewish community. So I don't know if it is that I'm going to end up joining them for lunch one day, or they will come here to the synagogue to do programming here, to connect them with Jewish groups at Whitman and Bethel's Jewish groups as well. But I know that outreach that they made to me with the Muslim Student Association at this one high school, that is a sign of hope. And I know that in my conversations with Dr. Dodd, the principal at Whitman, that he is committed, deeply committed, to figuring out how to increase conversation, and hearing at that one local high school. That he and I have had deep conversations about the role of moral education and of how the Holocaust is not just a story of horror and atrocity, but it guides us towards lessons of moral leadership. And I gave him as a gift Simon Wiesenthal's book, The Sunflower, of which a class of mine, we just spent 6 or 8 weeks studying the moral dilemmas and philosopher and theologian's response to Wiesenthal's Holocaust experience. But more people love than hate. Good people want to connect with good people. And my third area that I think that gives me hope is that on March 31st, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us in a speech at the National Cathedral that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. I believe that. That we are moving forward aware of the killing of Tyre Nichols, aware of the intimidation of Jews not welcome graffitied on the high school, of slander and hate and assaults which are too present, and we will move forward. I am hopeful because I know this is a time for us to be proud, to be present in the public square, to be obstinate against intolerance, unyielding towards hate, courageous with our family and friends and co-workers and politicians and leaders, that jokes and actions to diminish or divide us are not acceptable in our community. We must respond not only to attacks against the Jewish community, but respond in solidarity when a church is vandalized. We must stand with them in the same way that we look for them to stand with us. When a community is attacked, we must stand with them as we want them to stand with us. I am hopeful because I know we will not let those who want to divide us succeed. It is the haters who benefit when we only respond to incidents directed towards us rather than standing united with others. I am hopeful because I know our character, our resilience, and our determination to make the world a better place, and that begins right here. In a week and a half, Bethel is hosting a lunch for Bethesda clergy to gather, to strengthen our friendships and our resolve. To act together, we must know each other and care for each other and see beyond our individual houses of worship. We must have the moral courage to stand together. I have found many wonderful partners in this work. I am hopeful because I believe in you and me. I believe we will lean on each other when confronted with weeks like this. I believe we will not wait for another Tree of Life or Emmanuel AME to bring us together. I believe we are able to learn the lessons of International Holocaust Remembrance Day and turn them into action, not just remembrance. When we recite the Yizkor prayer, the prayer of remembering the dead, Jewish tradition has inserted a pledge. May God remember the soul of our beloved who has passed to their eternal rest. I pledge charity on their behalf and pray that their soul be kept among the immortal souls of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, and all the righteous men and women in paradise. As we remember 6 million and those who have died since as victims of hate, let us pledge action. Let us pledge collaboration with others doing this work and pledge that we will not desist from the work, even as great as it seems. Shabbat Shalom. Baruch Tihei.